Oh, okay. We don't need to recover that again.
No. Generation
When you
Kill
you get old, you
yeah,
start repeating things. So,
yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm here to prevent.
okay.
No. Well, Jay Booger hasn't heard the story yet, so he wouldn't bitch at you too
Oh, did
hard
he
for
do
that.
post a review on last week's show?
He did post a review, and we're going to talk about that.
I
And
haven't read that yet.
and you know what? Jay Booger has taken offense to my suggestion that he might be your wife.
Well, there would be at least two of him because my wife would object to that as well.
I still think the idea of your wife secretly listening in on the show and signing up under a secret account to criticize the hell out of you is a hilarious idea.
Oh, I think it is.
Yeah.
Especially since that would never actually happen.
You don't know that for sure.
Well, as long as shall we say it's anonymous and I don't really know, hey, I can be oblivious.
Yeah. But anyways, we've reached that time again. It's time once again. Everyone's favorite time on Monday. It's time for everyone's favorite internet radio show.
Insert title here.
And I'm your host, Johnny Gators, a.k.a. Nintendo's older brother. And also joining me is Brian Blues, a.k.a. someone's twin brother.
Nintendo's older brother?
Well, yeah.
What?
Here's the thing I've come to realize. My brother is a bigger internet celebrity than me. So I may as well bill myself as Nintendo's older brother. Because, now my brother, Greg, he does this YouTube channel with his friend Dan. And the idea, the concept of the channel is taking like a similar game, two similar games, one on the Super Nintendo, one on the Sega Genesis, and comparing them and determining which console had the better game. And like the first episode was Aladdin on the Sega Genesis versus Aladdin on the Super Nintendo, which were actually very different games with the same characters. Which one's the better game? And for the premise of this show, they kind of play the role like Dan is Sega and Greg is Nintendo, and they're roommates that live together, and hilarity ensues. Through the course of living together, at some point, someone will go, "Oh, that was a great game for the Sega Genesis. No, that was a better game for the Super Nintendo. We doing this? We're doing this." And then they battle it out and, start going into... And there's usually some type of a funny plot device throughout the episodes. And they have a lot more subscribers than any of my YouTube channels have. They have fans. They have people that leave comments, mostly positive. We have one person that leaves us comments. they have at least 20. Have you moved your camera off to the side?
Yeah, but don't tell Jay Booger because I didn't want him to see him looking at my phone.
Ah. So we just told him instead. You're looking this up, aren't you?
No, I'm actually looking to what he said on the last show.
Oh yeah. Well, we can pull that up and read that. But no. So yes, it's called Console Wars, and so my brother plays the role of Nintendo, and so I basically suggested I should start a new YouTube channel called Nintendo's Older Brother. So I think I'm going to start embracing that title. I'm Nintendo's older brother. So see if that gains me any followers or viewers, or maybe one of the Console Wars fans may drift over if they're like, hey, this dude's got an older brother that's been doing internet radio for longer, but it's not nearly as funny. Yeah, I'll check that out for about 5 minutes. Maybe that'll get us a few counts on a video. I don't know. But anyways. We do have a new sponsor for this week's show.
What is that?
What is that? That of course would be binder clips. They're great for reel-to-reel decks. Binder clips.
Really? Oh.
Really. I remembered to bring
if
one
you
home.
If you lose the little
right.
rubber thinger.
I haven't tried this yet.
Technical term there. Rubber thinger.
Rubber thinger. When you lose your rubber thinger, try a binder clip. Now I haven't tested this yet, so I don't know if this actually works. And the best part is if you work in any office building in the United States, you can get these absolutely free. I'm not suggesting you steal these. I'm just saying there's a drawer of them free for the taking. That came out right? That doesn't make me sound like a thief, does it? I mean, they put them there for you to take, and they don't actually specifically specify that every binder clip that you take out of there has to be used for office purposes. Maybe it's implied. So, binder clips. They're free. Just put them in your pocket and bring them home.
You know, when I worked for Radio Shack, and that's over 30 years ago, I had to take a polygraph. And one of the questions was,
is that legal? Strap you in for a job interview to the polygraph?
30 years ago.
Okay.
35 years ago, or thereabouts.
Okay.
And actually, that guy, the polygraph officer, whatever,
right,
got. I think he was accused of molesting women that were taking a polygraph while they were strapped in.
Interesting.
Either that, they were just accusing him because, hey, this is some asshole that's going to, ruin my career. I don't know,
He was accused.
Take it.
We don't know what he actually did.
And I don't know if there was ever a conviction or anything, whatever, or what he did.
They should have strapped him into a polygraph.
That's right. Oh, I got distracted from where I was going with that, and that was one of the questions had to do with employee theft. Of course, Radio Shack would be concerned about that.
Right.
And they kind of worded it like, have you stolen anything from anybody who you worked for other than a pencil? So you'd get a pass for a pencil, but a binder clip, I think you would be screwed, and the needles would be jumping all over the place. Oh, I stole a binder clip, right?
I suppose. Yeah, that because that's not a pencil. Now, what about a pen?
That's right.
What about a pen? Pen's not a pencil.
Well, it may have been a pencil or pen. I forget how it was worded.
You forget how it was worded, but
we don't have to go down that road since that was 35 years ago.
What about paper clips?
That wasn't.
That wasn't.
In fact, to be honest, he could have said office supplies, which would also cover binder clips. But
I guess that was really.
We wanted to kind of make you feel nervous.
That was the spirit of the question. Was that cheap office supplies like a pen that just easily gets into your pocket and you don't even really think about it? That's not what we're talking about here. So I think if Radio Shack's polygraph 35 years ago gives me a pass on this binder clip, I'm okay.
I noticed I went to a post office a few days ago, and I had to go line or whatever, and they got the little table with the cards to fill out, and they had a bunch of pens on it, and they had this big, bright red flower as part of it. Excuse me, I'm burping while I'm talking. It's better than coughing, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like my computer's better to crash again. And Venison's coming in, right?
Yeah, that looks like it. Hello there, caller.
Oh, well, it works.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. You called in just in time for Brian's computer to crash.
Cool.
Is it crashing on you now, Brian? That would be a yes. So how's it going, Venison? How many pens or pencils have you stolen from places you've worked for?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. No. Hey, it's okay. You can admit to this on the Radio Shack polygraph.
And,
they don't care.
And it wasn't just pencils. Well, there may have been some transistors, capacitors, LEDs, integrated circuits.
Let me ask a moral, ethical question. Let's
a multi-band shortwave receiver.
All right. Let's say you worked for a company, and let's say you worked for a company that you haven't worked for now in years. So if anyone's listening, I don't work for you anymore. But let's say you worked for a company, and let's say this company made a lot of use of thin clients, which is not a computer. It's this little like mini box. It's like a dummy terminal that grabs a session off of a server. And let's say you place an order for the wrong kind of thin client, and it turns out that you bought these 5 thin clients that are probably each worth anywhere from $80 to $125, and they are not compatible with your network. And let's say that you go back to the vendor, and you says to the vendor, you says, "Hey, really sorry, I ordered the wrong thing. Could I get a return on these? You can give me credit or whatever because we'll buy the right thing."
Oh, sales final.
And let's say that I should have been able to return them. And the sales rep kept on not getting back to me. Then he was on vacation, and then someone was covering for him. And by the time I started calling him up, dude, dumbass, I need to fucking return these 5 fucking thin clients. Are you gonna do something to fucking help me? Wait, did you email me about that? Yes, I emailed you on this date, and on this date, and on this date, and on this date. But it's past the date that HP will take them back. Well, that's not my fault. That's your fault. That sounds like a personal problem to me. Now, of course, I wasn't really talking like this. I was being very polite and, speaking professionally. This wasn't some idiot at a call center for AT&T. This was our sales rep. So, he although I hated this guy, and I hated this guy because every other word out of his mouth was sorry. And I didn't want him to be sorry. I just wanted him to fix the fucking problem. I hated this guy. I'm really sorry about that. You're a bad sales rep if, every other sentence is stumbling, stammering, and apologizing. Isn't that right, Brian?
I guess I missed that.
All right. Well, let me recap. Let me recap because I want to get a hypothetical situation here.
What's the sales rep, Lee?
I want to get a hypothetical situation here and see what the moral or ethical dilemmas will be because I think the statute of limitations is up on this one. But let's say hypothetically you worked for a company that made use of thin clients. And let's say that you ordered 5 HP thin clients from a company that you did purchasing things through. And let's say that your sales rep for this company was a complete putz. And he didn't respond to emails and was away from the office. And by the time he finally got back to you about wanting to return these 5 thin clients that were not compatible with our environment, it was past the cutoff date that HP would take them back. And let's say we finished the return and everything was fine and the company got their money back and there was absolutely no loss at all. And that was the end of that boring story. Why, hello there, loss prevention officer.
Hello, this is Reggie Ray Valentine, newly deputized loss prevention officer for the corporation. And it's come to my attention that we're missing some clippy things, man. I had one job, count the clippy things. I said 1, 2, 3. I won't bore you until I got to 73. Oh, damn.
And your clipboard says it should be 74.
74 gone, man. Reggie, Reggie tried again. I said 1, 2, 74. Now, word on the streets said there might be some paper clips missing over in Brian's, whatever the corporation his wife worked at or something like that.
Oh, okay. You're
just saying.
Hey, did you count the clip that you're using to hold the pen on your clipboard?
Oh, damn. Never mind.
Glad to be of help. Thank you very much, Reggie, for checking in with us. I have no idea what you're talking about. All right.
Uh-huh.
So now
Well,
that
he found the missing clip, so he did his job.
So we're all in the clear. So now that the loss prevention officer is not on the line, let's continue this story. All right, so let's say hypothetically that someone were to order 5 thin clients that, grab like server sessions on a network. And once the thin clients arrived, this person discovered that they were incompatible with their network and he accidentally ordered the wrong thing because they look exactly like the right thing. And up until this point, he never knew that there was this different type of model that didn't work that way. And so he called up the rep and sent emails to the rep basically saying, hey, this isn't compatible with our system. Really sorry, I ordered the wrong thing. Can we return this? And the rep was a complete and total putz and completely dropped the ball in getting back to the person that was reaching out to him. And by the time he got him on the phone, he was like, it's past the cutoff time to return these to HP. And let's say this person that made the wrong purchase was not happy with that answer and got a little pushy. Like, look, I sent you emails on this date and on this date and on this date. I called and left a voicemail on this date. What the hell, man? This sounds to me like this is your mistake that resulted in me not being able to make this return. Now, granted, the person may have ordered the wrong thing, but the person took every measure to do a proper return under the terms. And it's not like this person does this all the time. And so basically what the sales rep decided was, we'll tell you what, we'll write it off, we'll refund you, but we don't want the thin clients back because HP doesn't want them back and we can't sell them to anyone else. No one buys these from us. So you keep the 5 thin clients that your place of business has no use for and can't use. And I don't care what you do with them. Go lay them out in the train tracks for all I care. And you get a complete credit back for it, so it's like they were never purchased. Now, at this point, there are 5 brand new thin clients sitting in a box in a storage closet, taking up valuable space where the boss man needs to put his bike. And do you see an ethical problem with someone doing the polite thing of clearing that space for the boss man's bike by listing them on eBay?
No.
Yeah.
So you see no ethical or moral problem with this?
Yeah, because you're just getting rid of something that you can't use.
Right. And
you could have sent them to a recycling center because we don't get money for that either. Or
right.
The company doesn't.
But if said person sold them on eBay himself for $80 each and pocketed the cash.
I think there would be somebody that's looking the other way.
Well, no one knew to even look the other way. They just quietly went to said person's car and went on eBay one by one, hoping that coworkers don't watch said person's eBay account. But otherwise, they would have gotten trashed. They were not paid for by anyone. They were written off by the company that they were initially purchased from. Actually, so no crime, right? I mean, it's the type of thing that feels kind of wrong, but I struggle to come up with a reason why that was wrong or what a more appropriate action would have been.
Well, you could have asked for permission from the boss.
Yeah, I couldn't.
You say you want to get rid of these. We can't use them. We can't return them. The only option is to recycle them or attempt to sell them.
Well, yeah, but then I'd have to sell. I'd have to share the money with the boss. I'm thinking the boss would not be okay with when there's cash going into individuals' pockets. How much
did you get? Did you get $80 or $80 each?
$80 each. So we're talking like $400 here.
$400. I'm not sure what the price is, but I just bought the standard CD of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and I noticed on Amazon that they are taking pre-orders for the deluxe version. That's probably very expensive.
For $120, I've already got mine pre-ordered.
Sweet. See what a segue is that, huh?
Yeah.
That would be a perfect way to use. Wait a minute. Let's go back to getting permission.
What, now, if you happen to know a boss man that needed storage space for his bike, how do you see the boss man taking to this suggestion of lowly IT guy coming into his office and saying, "I got a great idea. I take these 5 boxes home, I sell them for $400, and I pocket that." Do you think he's going to give me the thumbs
And
up?
you've got room for your bicycle. It's perfect.
Do you think boss man's going to give me the thumbs up on that one?
I got one better.
Well, I want to get Brian's answer. Then we'll hear your
Well,
story.
it is actually funny because he's the prior boss before him. Not the guy named Bill, but this guy Dennis. I don't know if you heard about him.
This hypothetical Dennis, okay.
Dennis, you know, there are very specific rules of what's allowed as far as gifts and stuff. So if you got something in the mail and they were asking you to fill out a questionnaire, there was $1 in there, you would have to turn that $1 in. Seriously. And if you didn't, I think he would probably get you fired.
That's kind of like when, you know, you're working at the Walmart and the old ladies in the parking lot slip cash into your pockets. You're supposed to turn that in to whatever charity Walmart utilizes. Because,
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I have never heard that before. Wait. So like the little old lady that's greeting you at the door.
No. The little old lady that's shopping. You see,
And someone slips money into her pocket?
No, she slips money into your pocket.
Because of why? Why does she do this?
Because you helped carry a 35-inch TV to her car.
Oh, and you're an employee.
Right. Walmart
Okay,
employees...
I had it backwards. I thought, wait a minute. I was thinking of the little old lady that's greeting you at the door. No, it's not her. It's the customer, and you're the employee.
Right. Walmart employees...
So you can't accept that as a tip. That has to be turned into the donation.
Right. Walmart
bucket.
Employees are not supposed to accept tips and are supposed to turn down tips. But there are customers that really want to tip you. And I actually
Yes.
and this is absolutely true because I ran into this one time where I'm loading something into a sweet old lady's car, and as I'm leaning over, her hand goes into my pocket. She goes, "I'm putting that in your pocket. I know you're not supposed to take it, but I'm leaving it there." And you know, I was like, "Oh, thank you very much." And I was actually told ahead of time that in situations like this, you are supposed to turn the cash in to the. I mean, you're supposed to try to give it back, but if someone won't take their money back and they slip in your pocket.
She wasn't playing bucket pool.
Right. If someone's insistent on leaving cash on you, then you turn it into the Walmart charity. Of course, no one saw this cash transaction. She was very slick about it, and Walmart did not pay me enough to care about their charity, and I kept that cash. And I don't care if Walmart hears this because they can go fuck themselves. But yeah. So, but you're saying...
I don't think anybody would say, "I'll turn that in."
Dune asks, is the theoretical auction over? Oh, I think the statute of limitations is up, theoretically.
As long as nobody was killed.
Theoretically, money has been exchanged, acquired, and spent.
Right. Right.
And the boss man still has room to store his bike, which I think is the real important thing about this story.
Yes.
I gotta tell you though, I was a little nervous because here's what I was doing. I was bringing them home one at a time, because I got in early before anyone else got in, and so I was one at a time taking a box.
So instead of 5 chances of getting caught, you were going. I'm sorry, I said that
instead of getting caught
instead
once,
of one chance of getting caught, you were going for 5 chances of getting caught.
Well, I thought it would look more suspicious if I threw 5 boxes in my car, but if I threw 1 box in my car 5 times, and I didn't do them one day after the other, that would just be like, oh, he got a package. But if I'm loading 5 identical boxes into the back of my car, that looks suspicious.
That's right, because our employer allowed you to send your stuff to the company.
Right. So I was,
and a lot of people did that.
And I'll tell you,
sometimes the shipping department would open up your shit.
And one of the mornings,
because they were curious.
And one of the mornings, I was putting a box in my car. Who did I run into in the parking lot as I'm placing box in the back of my car? Shane.
Mr. Bossman.
Shane.
Oh, Mr. Shane.
Mr. Shane. Which means I had nothing to worry about because he probably had no clue I was putting a box in my car.
Right.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Hey, can you look at my laptop? Yeah, sure. I was just waiting out here for you to get in so I could ask if you needed me to look at your laptop.
That's right. Yes, we do tech support on the fly.
Yes. Theoretically, this all happened. Hypothetically.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Shane's a hypothetical name.
Yes. Shane, isn't that a name of a cowboy?
It could be.
Yeah. Just watch out for the spurs.
Okay, all right, Venison, you got a better story than this, though, hypothetically.
Oh, my God. Well, you got to remember, electronics technician, damn good at my job.
This is when you worked for sound design? Theoretically?
No.
Hypothetically?
No. This is before that. No, sound design, screw them. No, this is more working in this other little shop. A shop that I went to. And I actually got a good paycheck. Okay. But I, had things happen which were kind of questionable, as to the boss's attitude. Who I, kind of thought, I didn't think of it at the time, but I didn't think this sort of thing existed, but, racist. And, so, I worked there. And apparently, being good at my job, I started going through shit, boom, 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 fix, done. Rather quickly. And also, too, that requires, a lot of parts order. A lot of parts orders. But, put the parts in, equipment fixed, done. Get back to the customer, place makes a lot of money. But I ran into suspicion, was also, sitting there, like electronic store, components. Ooh, look at these transistors. Ooh. And, they got, sort of like 1,000 of them with that. They wouldn't miss a few. Okay. Little small things. Like
things that are smaller than a pen and cheaper than a pen. And we've already established that pens are okay.
Yeah, little things that they wouldn't miss.
Transistor here, resistor there, capacitor there.
And hey, that falls under office supplies, right?
A 200-watt tube amplifier there. Small things.
No. Although there were a couple of Wharftail woofers that nobody used. But, everything was going great until one time the boss was like, why are you ordering so many parts? And, he, took a bunch of these parts orders and had the other technicians put the parts in. Guess what? The boss fixed the unit, done, sent off to the customers. Oh, I guess they're correct. You're doing it the right way. Okay. Suspicion ended. And unfortunately, he did this thing where he started going for warranty company. Warranties on company items. Sony warranties. That sounds like Kenwood warranties. Big name warranties. A few of them. So, more stuff started coming in. A shitload more stuff. So, yeah, it's just, I sped up. Okay, still able to do it. Boom, 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 boom. Out. In, out. Until I saw this one item, the Sony, small, rectangular, small, portable, AM, FM, 5 multi-band shortwave and low-wave radio. Ooh, look at this. Hey, it works. Don't see no problem with it. Let me keep it on the bench for a few days.
So you're fixing something that's not broken is what you're doing here.
Well, it might be intermittent. It's just
You might need to order.
Like that, make sure it's cool.
But you might need to change some parts just to make sure.
Well, no parts ordered. Just keep it there. Make sure it works. Could be that intermittent in there before. Then that's the way we do it. Let it play for a while. For several days, everything cool. And then so I kind of sent the paperwork in, saying this unit's okay. But the unit ended up missing. And they're trying to say, what happened to the unit? I don't know. I sent it in. I'm like, there's like hundreds of stuff, at any given day, they can't keep track of everything. I set it up. What happened? What did you guys do with it? And of course, suspicion came down to me. Again. But 2 days later, turns out one of the guys in the shop, was caught with a shitload of equipment from the store. A shitload of it.
More than just a few capacitors and resistors and transistors.
Yeah, it was whole units. This guy was stealing equipment. And it was like, the boss came back, said, okay, we're sorry. We caught the guy who was stealing all the equipment. I'm sorry. I thought it was you, and all like this and everything else.
Sorry, I thought it was you, but you understand. I mean, you know.
Was this in New Jersey? Was this in New Jersey?
Yeah, it's in New Jersey.
Is this something about people in New Jersey? Because I got a story that's related.
Okay, Brian, what's your related story?
Okay.
I
knew this.
He's going. Wait.
All right.
I thought you were done.
I thought he was done too. Sorry. All right, go ahead, Venison.
No. He was thinking, well, you know how it is. I'm Jewish, you're black. That type of thing. But he didn't say that. But, but afterwards, I got pretty much preferential treatment. Was able to order all kinds of test equipment for my own bench to help things along, and I got away with free game and FM low wave radio. And it turns out the guy who did the thieving was this Jewish relative.
Oh wow, that's easier to steal from your relatives, right?
Right. If you're gonna steal,
yeah,
keep it
come
in the
on
family.
over, Bob. See, look at all the stuff I've got. Oh shit, that's right. I work for you.
Dune writes in, wow, I hope the Walmart cops don't call you.
Uh-oh.
You know what? Let me tell you, I've gotten so many notifications about class action lawsuits I could have gone in on for Walmart. They got nothing on me.
Sure.
I got more on them than they've got on me.
Right.
But
did you have it documented?
Well, no, that's why. Here's the thing: these class action lawsuits, the way it works is like if you work for them between this time and that time, due to like blah 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 blah.
Oh, you just filed the claim.
You might be entitled, but it was based on lawsuits about people not getting their breaks or being forced to work on the clock.
Oh,
and let me tell you, at my time at Walmart, I never had a problem with working off the clock. And I never felt that Walmart ever forced me to work on the clock. Now, I guess some stores are different than others. And that's the thing that sucks about class action lawsuits. On the one hand, it's kind of good to allow, a bunch of people to pool their resources together when a big company is got bad policy, which clearly Walmart had an issue that this was a problem at several stores. But on the other hand, you're basically leaving it to honor code for people that are not due a payout on that to not file for it, because I had no problem with Walmart. I got all my breaks, and yet I was entitled to, get a cut of this, which I'm guessing once it was split out, however many fucking ways it was going to be like, wow, a brand new shiny nickel. So it just wasn't worth my time.
Or when Microsoft loses a lawsuit, they hand you a coupon, you can buy another one of their shitty products.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
So, Brian, you said you have
I always got my compensation. I always got my compensation and never got caught. from sound design or from them or anybody else.
So you said you have a related story,
So
Brian.
again, I was working for Radio Shack, and there was this new manager that came in from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
See, so you're not the first guy I met from New Jersey, you know. And I was in Denver at the time, and most of the locals didn't like the guy because he's an East Coaster, right?
But you understood that
whatever.
he's not
I
an
understand.
asshole. They just
So
make us like that.
I got along with the guy because, hey, I'm from Connecticut, right? You know, I understand the game. You know,
You're a more elite type of asshole than the Jersey asshole.
Exactly. That's right. Even though our state's going into bankruptcy, or probably, or they should.
Leave the frick.
But anyway, so he told me this story. You know how the way the manager's salary works? You know, you work for peanuts, and then annually they evaluate the store based on not only sales but the margin and the profits, and you get a bonus based on the profits. So the good managers are very profitable. They know what makes money. The stuff that don't make money, they just hide in the back. Okay.
Okay.
Some of the managers I worked for would not sell computers because you didn't make money on computers.
It just
so
wasn't
anyway,
worth
this
it.
guy thought that Radio Shack was going to screw him out of his bonus. So he filled up this truck full of merchandise from the store. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
solid
kind of
plan.
theft,
What could go wrong?
Right? What
Kind
could
of?
go wrong? Yeah, kind of like theft.
Kind of
Okay,
like theft, except
but
that
his
it
store
is.
was actually in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, and he took the stuff home, which was in New Jersey. Guess what? That's called grand theft, which is a felony.
Across
And yes,
interstate
and they
lines.
arrested him. It's like,
So
yeah, not only are you not going to get your bonus, but you're going to jail. Hey, look at that, free housing.
he got a different kind of bonus.
Right.
You know, you work in retail, you run into thieves. And I've run into a few in my time working at Walmart. Now, mind you, I worked at Walmart for maybe 3 years, if you tally it all together. And yeah, I've got, you know, multiple stories about theft. And I think my favorite one is about the chick that was banging the other guy in the department. There was this chick named Elena. And here's the thing is that
Hypothetically.
And hypothetically, she was very friendly and very nice. I got along with her, and you know, because she wanted to get transferred into the electronics department. And at first, I thought she wanted to get transferred into the electronics department because this is where all the cool people work, and she wanted to hang out with cool guys like me and my friend Chris, and you know, all us geeky
all
dudes.
the nerds.
Yeah,
the
clearly,
nerds were popular then. Hey, what the heck,
clearly,
right?
this attractive, classy lady from the great town of Manville, New Jersey, wants to hang out with the nerds and date the nerds and fuck the nerds. Clearly, that's her
Manville.
angle here.
Uh-oh.
So she, well, no, and it had nothing to do with the fact that electronics had a cash register that was shared among the department, so that you didn't have to count the drawer out every time. That it was honor system basically. Everyone in the department could just log into the register and allow it to be shared, and then at the end of the day, you counted it out, and it would count out fine typically until at some point after Elena started working in the department. The cash register started showing up missing a few $100 each day. And the first time it happens, you figure, how did that happen? I mean, how do you give back that much change accidentally? Innocent mind here. You know, my first thought isn't, oh my God, someone stole a few $100. My first thought is, oh my God, someone rang up an extra PlayStation accidentally. You know, how did that happen? And there's a few things that you noticed after the fact, like the fact that she always made a point to not be anywhere around the department when it was time to count out the register because she did not want to be the person counting out the register. Or that at some point, one of the guys who knew what was going on got very protective of the trash can. Because one day, Elena was, you know, tidying up the department, and she goes to take the trash can out, And this one guy who's running the register that day, he blocks her from the trash can. No, I don't. It doesn't need to be empty. No, it's. And she got into an argument with him, like, "Oh my God, what's your problem? I'm just taking out that trash. Come on!" And she, basically forced the trash can away from him. And I was like, "What the hell was that about? Why is Saeed so protective of that trash can?" And I asked her about it. She goes, "I don't know. He's crazy, man. He just got..." And it turns out she was tossing the money into the trash can and then taking the trash out and pocketing it somewhere in the back where there wasn't a camera. And they basically knew at some point after a few $100s turns up missing a few times, loss prevention starts reviewing cameras. They pretty much figured out what was going on.
They nailed her.
And they at that point they're just waiting to make their move because they want to catch her in the act. And
Right.
Now meanwhile, she's spreading rumors about her and one of the managers. Well, she is also...
She was banging?
No, she wasn't. She wanted to bang this manager. There was a manager by the name of Tim. And I got to say, he was I got to say...
Hypothetical Tim.
Hypothetical Tim. And hypothetically, I'm a straight guy, but I got to say, he was quite well built, and I can see what women saw in this guy. This guy would fall under the category of attractive young adult. He's probably in his late 20s, early 30s, quite fit, very confident. So he could make. I think, and he was married. Clearly this guy was taken. If I had to start ranking the management on who I'd rather sleep with, if I had to choose, there were some ugly female managers at this Walmart. So I think I would take him over some of these ugly females. I'm just saying. I'm not gay. That was the running joke that we had in the department.
I'm not gay, but he's a damn good-looking man.
But he looks better than some of the women that work at the Walmart. And that's more a statement about the women that worked at this Walmart. I'm not saying Angie looks like a dog, but damn. Anyways, my apologies to Angie if she's listening. But damn.
Theoretically.
Hypothetically. Theoretically. Yeah. Anyways, where was I in this story? Oh, yeah. So Elena made it very well known to anyone that would talk to her that she totally wanted to get it on with Tim, hypothetically. And apparently she made it her angle to, be alone with Tim any chance that she got to. Like, if he was hanging out in a certain department, she might be like, "Hey, I'll help you, tidy up these aisles."
Because she wanted to play pocket pool.
Right. Yeah. She was trying to, see if maybe he was not the faithful type and maybe she could get a little, get a little side action with him. And supposedly she starts telling us that, oh my God, he's totally responding to me. He's being flirty back with me. He's totally into me. Meanwhile, she's dating one of the other guys in the department, a guy by the name of Chris, because Chris was totally into her. And so I'm kind of playing the role of the buddy, hey, what do you think of my friend Chris over here? And she's like, "Well, isn't he a virgin?" I'm like, "That's none of what does that have to do with anything? Hey, first time with a girl with experience, you could, teach him the ropes and whatever. You have a great time." I don't know though if I want to go with a virgin. I'm like, come on, you'll be so finally I negotiate some type of a date, and the date went very well. And Chris was not a virgin by the end of this date, and then she gets caught trying
You could tell by the big smile on his face?
Oh, I could tell by the words coming out of the big smile on his face. He did not keep it secret at all. Because we all wanted details. Because meanwhile,
hey, baby, I got laid.
Because meanwhile, I'm trying to hook up with the other girl in the department, Julie, and that was going nowhere. Why? Because I was stupid. Because I was trying to get in a relationship with her, and she just wanted to bang someone on the side. And I wasn't having any of that. And looking back at that, I probably should have just banged her on the side, but maybe I'm better off for not doing that. Chris had the right idea.
Hard to say.
Hard to say. Well,
retrospect is always easier, right?
Well, Julie was engaged, which means not married. Engaged.
Yes.
There's not been any I do's. This is still, up for grabs.
Sure, I'll wear the ring.
Hypothetically. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she had a ring. He bought it at the jewelry counter at the Walmart because you get the 10% employee discount.
Yes. Because for guys, that's important.
That's important. And every day, Julie would be bitching to me about how she hates this guy and how she wants to leave this guy and she's scared of this guy and I don't know I'm scared of him. Like she made it sound like she was a victim in an abusive relationship. And not that he ever like hurt her or hit her, but she was scared of him, and so I bought her story hook, line, and sinker, and was like, okay, well, she's like, I want to be with you. I don't want to be with him. I want to be with you, and I'm like, okay, I'd like to be with you. Well, why don't we leave this guy? How about after work, we'll go there and tell him together that you're leaving him, and I'll help you get moved out of there, whatever. Or let's make this happen.
Was she sharing an apartment or something with him?
I don't know who owned the apartment or what the living situation. I forget what it was, but she also has. She had 2 kids, one of which I think so clearly he's the one that's going to be leaving the apartment as far as I saw it, as I recall. I don't remember the details that much anymore. All I know is that. But
they were sharing some space together.
They were living together. They were engaged. Yeah. They were living together. Oh, yeah. Our conversing started with her telling me how good she is at giving head and suggesting that she could prove this to me. And instead of letting her just prove this to me, I decided to try to get in a relationship with her.
That's not really what she wanted. Yeah,
that's not really. But the thing is that we continued to kind of flirt back and forth. But the thing is that she started with the line that's supposed to result in me going, "Hey, we got 15 minutes on break. Let's get in my car." And so I was like, "Hey, that's really nice," or something like that. I treated her nicely and kindly with respect, and she started telling me like, "Hey, I think I kind of like this." And, I listened to her complain about her fiance and how she wanted to leave him, and I was very supportive of her. And at some point, we decided we were dating, and we went out on one date. And but once again, we never got we started talking about like get to a hotel room sometime and seal the deal here. And I kept on saying, well, look, if we're gonna do that, you need to leave him first. I don't want to start getting into a sexual relationship with you until I'm sure that I'm the only guy. And she'd get a little kind of pissy at me when I suggest this, and she's like, you need to give me time. You need to give. Okay, all right, I'll give you time, but we're not sealing the deal until this and I'll help you. But I'm not gonna force you to do it, but it sounds like this is what you want to do. Anyways, about 2 weeks after this bickering back and forth or whatever, after 2 weeks of this, dating, relationship, whatever it was, I don't see her for 2 days at work. She calls out for 2 days, and she doesn't call me because she usually would call me in the morning before work, and so I don't hear from her for 2 days, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? Well, apparently her fiance found out about me and basically ordered her to stop talking to me. And so she comes in to work after 2 days of not hearing from her, and I see her. I'm like, hey, what's up? Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. Stay away from me. Like I had done something wrong. And that's a great quality way to end a relationship. Just without even explanation. Just I don't.
That's
want
right.
to talk.
Yeah, that's right. She blamed you. That made it easier for her, right?
At first, she blamed me, and I was, obviously very upset by this. And so but we both still had to work together in the same department, and it was very, very tense. And I was not looking to cause any problems. I was,
Ooh, awkward.
Awkward, yeah. Because
absolutely. Yeah, really.
And here's the thing.
Yes, and here's Johnny and his coworker awkward.
Yeah. Instead of, running around giggling, playing. instead of hypothetically running around the department giggling, playing a little grab ass with each other, we were hypothetically like avoiding each other, giving each other death stares.
So she lost her interest in pocket pool.
Well, the story goes on for a while. But here's my favorite part of the story. My favorite part of the story is I felt like if this doesn't like get better in a few days, I should probably transfer out of this department. Now, here's the thing. I didn't even think about this at the time, and I didn't realize what had happened until she told me later when we started speaking again, which was also a big mistake. So here's me. Guy with a, who knows stereo equipment, who knows computers, who knows like how to use everything that's in the department. And there's Julie.
But doesn't know women.
And then there's Julie, who knows how to run a cash register. And so when I say to the department manager, I'm going to give it a few days, but if things don't improve here, I think I'm going to ask you to transfer me out of the department. The next day, Julie's gone from the department. I thought she transferred out. And later on, she approached me and said, look, I feel bad for what I did. I'm staying with Ed, but I'd like for us to be friends. And I figured, like, well, you don't just suddenly go from wanting to leave a guy to, oh, my God, I love this guy and want to stay with him. Maybe she's still scared. Let's stay in the friendship and see where this will go. And basically, I got friend zoned. But I found out. What did you say to the manager to get them to transfer me out of there so fast? I'm like, I didn't say anything. I thought you had me transferred out of that. No, I didn't do it. I said I might need to get myself transferred out of there. She goes, oh well, that's why he did it. He didn't want to lose you. I'm like, oh, damn,
and you didn't know.
I didn't
you didn't know that would happen.
I didn't know that would happen. It makes sense now that I look at it. I'm like, well, duh. I was a pretty good worker, but that was unintended consequence of trying to do the noble thing.
Sure.
Duh. That's how I got away with a lot of shit.
I'm just that awesome. So anyways, Elena at some point gets caught with a PlayStation 2 down her pants trying to go out the door. And she gets held in the... Well, no, I don't think that's what happened. She got caught somehow trying to steal. And she somehow escaped. Like, they brought her to the back room to question her. And they're like, we know you took a PlayStation. We know you took this. We know. And she goes, hey, I got the PlayStation in my car. You got the PlayStation in my car? Yeah, I'll go get it. I'll even bring it in and give it back to you. And apparently they let her go back to the car, and that was the last they ever saw her.
So she went up to the car and just drove off?
Yeah. She didn't have the PlayStation in her car. Who drives around with a PlayStation in their car?
And they just let her walk out.
That's the story I heard.
That's a good one.
That's the rumor.
Good one.
That's the rumor. That's the gossip. It doesn't make sense to me, but somehow she ended up getting out of the building not in cuffs. And Chris continued to sleep with her for a few weeks afterwards.
What? He was still in contact with her?
Oh, yeah, because she was still around town. She just didn't set foot in the building or on property or on the premises. And they probably pressed charges against her. I don't know whatever came of that, but she never set foot in the Walmart.
That's still
again.
Bizarre, yeah.
Yeah. I still don't get
let's
how...
let this go away quietly because he wants to continue to bang her.
Oh, that had nothing to do with it. He just continued begging. Now, Tim, however, never was flirting with her. She was totally lying about the manager being flirty with her.
Wow.
I think she was trying to make a situation look like a gray area or something like that, like she's somehow involved with management. But now that's it. She claimed to me that Tim was like coming on to her. Anyone that knows Tim said, that was total bullshit. Tim was not coming on to her.
Well, she's spreading out these stories, I take it.
But yeah, she's spreading the stories. So I think the stories had something to do. Well, the other thing is that Elena helped me out with Julie, because when Julie wouldn't speak to me, Elena was friends with Julie. So I kind of went to Elena. I'm like, something's up with Julie? And she's like, what's going on? I explained to her. She goes, let me talk to her. And so she's the one that came back and relayed to me, well, Julie got caught, and Julie wants to stay with him, and she's staying away from you. And I think that's bullshit. I think that's horrible what she's doing to you. And so then me and Elena were talking a bit, but I mean, strictly friends. friends because she's banging Chris. I'm not gonna intrude on Chris's territory there. But it's like you work alongside this person. You think you're friends with this person. You find out that she's been stealing from the store all along while being friends with you alongside of you. You just never know who is stealing.
She just wanted to supplement her income, right?
Yeah. Something like that. And then there was the guy at the photo counter that had a habit of not ringing up everything that his friends brought up to the counter to ring out.
Oh, so that person would come up and he would just take the money and hand over the photos.
Right, or he would ring up some of the products and hand over the photos, but he didn't ring up all of the products, so that way someone walked out of the store with all the products in the back. Now, if they checked the receipt at the door, they would have been caught. But this was the Walmart up in Maine. They don't check receipts at the door up there.
Yeah, but I noticed, like where I live, they go through and you show the receipt, they hit it with the highlighter. They're not really looking at it. They're not looking in the bag.
Well, some people are looking at the item count and doing a rough count of the items in the bag. That's what you're supposed to do anyways.
Yeah. But usually you don't see any of that.
I think it's more likely though.
It's like a rubber stamp to me.
I think it's more likely to make people think they're checking out you out.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe they profile you. Hey, I'm a white dude, to be blunt about it, and they just look at me and they go, okay, this guy's okay. Because a lot of times I'll hold the bag open so that they can. I'm just saying, hey, that's reality, right? I think it sucks, right?
Maybe at the Danville Walmart, but
Well, isn't one in Danville.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not touching that with a 20-foot pole, Brian.
Yeah, that's no. I mean, there's a reality there, right? Right, Vanessa. There's a reality.
So you're saying
you understand the game?
Yeah, I found out.
Yeah,
I found that out.
No, I'd rather have the guy check the bag to make sure that that the guy's clear. I don't care. I don't think profiling is a good thing at all.
I remember one time I bought a pair of sneakers from I think I probably bought them from a Kmart or something. I bought them from a store that was not in the habit of deactivating the security tag that's built into those sneakers. And so there was a period of time that every time I set foot in the Walmart, I set off the door. On my way in, on my way out. I got to the point where...
Oh, because you were wearing those sneakers.
Because I was wearing the sneakers with the security tag. It's like, hey, can I run my sneakers by your security thing? Can you deactivate that? Basically got to the point where every time I set off the door on my way out, I wave to the guy and go, hey, it's just me again. All right, have a good day.
Well, actually, this Walmart is probably lax.
With?
Sometimes you'll see the guy going through the thing goes off, and nobody does the thing.
Yeah, no one's going to chase you if you keep walking.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of wonder, why is this happening?
You're trained.
You saw that customer go through the cash register line, whatever, go through the door, whatever. Maybe the guy at the counter register didn't, tag it off, whatever you want to call it, right? Deactivate it.
Right.
And so everybody's cool, that happens all the time, especially with, Gina or whatever her name is.
Right.
Because she's the idiot that forgets the tag.
Well, I remember I ran into a situation. I ran into a situation where the old lady that was checking things at the door yelled at me. And because
it went off.
Well, no, because it didn't go off, actually. All the TVs have security tags on them. And my mentality is that the goal is to not set off the door with merchandise.
That's a good idea, yeah.
So anytime I rung out someone with a TV, I pulled the sensor off of the box. So that way it wouldn't set off the door alarm. And I had done this all the time, and no one ever said anything to me about it. And I just figured this is what I would do, so that way it won't set off the door. Hey, let me pull that sensor off. Bam. Okay, you're good to go. Go ahead. Well, one day, this old lady who, when I complained about the situation that she, was not a member of management, took me aside and verbally assaulted me. The manager talked to her about it, and basically he was like, "Oh, she's just a tough cookie," and she had a valid point. Just be cool and you'll be fine. translation.
Her complaint was that you took the tag off the merchandise.
Right. She came to me and she's like, I keep
But it
telling
was
you guys.
already paid for, right?
Right. Well, she came and assaulted me. Like, well, not assault.
Yeah.
It wasn't really assaulted me. She's like, I
Sure.
keep telling you guys, and you never listen to me. Do not peel those security tags off. How many times I got? I'm like, you've never told me that. I say this all the time. This is the first I'm hearing it. I was very upset because she was,
Oh,
really
this was
me.
the type that you peel off.
Right. Well, you could peel it
Not
off.
like the thing that you have to unhook.
See, here was her issue. Was that if a TV came out the door, she was gonna check that receipt anyways. So it doesn't matter if the door alarm goes off. But if she sees a TV with a security sticker peeled off of it, that looks suspicious. So it's best to just leave it on, because if someone's trying to steal a TV, they're probably going to peel that security sticker off and try to get through the door without setting off the alarm.
Okay, so that makes sense. But normally, if you install a TV, you would deactivate it.
Yeah, but the
Can your device actually reach to the back of the TV because the TV is big, right?
No, it wasn't we didn't have handheld devices to deactivate these things. It was a thing that was built into the barcode scanner. So that way you scan the item and you're automatically running it by the deactivator, and bzz, it's deactivated automatically.
But sometimes it wouldn't deactivate, otherwise the door alarm would go off.
Well, the TV, a 27-inch TV, you're not going to run along the scanner. You're going to use the handheld barcode scanner, but I don't have a handheld deactivator.
So you would peel it off
since I couldn't deactivate it, because I wanted to be diligent about doing my due process to deactivate everything that came through my line.
So the normal procedure in her mind was, since you really can't deactivate it,
let it set the
door
door
alarm
off.
should go off.
Right.
I got you. Okay.
Because peeling it off looks suspicious. I didn't even think about that. All I was thinking about was, don't set off the door. That's all I was thinking about.
Right.
Don't peel off the mattress tag.
This is for not to embarrass the customer, right?
Right.
Because some people freak out when the door alarm goes off. Oh my God, I didn't do anything.
Right, exactly. It's not
hands
good for
waving
anyone.
in the air, the whole thing. Yeah,
that's not good for anyone. So I'll just peel the thing off. You could see the receipt. But her point was that this is not what you're supposed to do. This makes it look like someone's trying to steal.
This friend of mine likes to go to the Home Depot in off of Davis Street.
Okay,
I guess that's San Leandro.
I'm glad we took the time to specify that.
Rather than the one up towards San Ramon.
So this guy likes to shop at the Home Depot.
Because he lived in Castro Valley. So the one in Danville, or it's actually San Ramon, would be out of the way for him.
So this guy likes to shop at Home Depot.
Much nicer. As I described, you know what? We have never had anybody taken away from the Home Depot in San Ramon wearing handcuffs.
So it's also boring.
Yes. Well, he would be at a Home Depot off of Davis Street, San
and he
Leandro,
gets some entertainment. Yeah.
And he's with his son, and they're carting away the alleged customers away in handcuffs.
Well,
yes,
it's
and also teaching the child, see what happens if you steal something. Right?
Well, it's a learning,
Presumably, that's what they were doing.
I tell you, it was great fun. Was working at the Walmart in Oakland. That's where you get to meet the people that they rehired after they, had been busted stealing something. But it's been 6 months, so we're going to give him another chance. I'm like, what? Seriously?
Okay, so I was talking to the store manager at Radio Shack, and we were talking about the polygraph, and there's a lot of interpretation in a polygraph.
Well, yeah.
He also would talk about drug use and drug dealing.
I mean,
and this guy would explain away the polygraph. Well, yes, I've done a little drug dealing. Yes, I've smoked a little pot, whatever. But it's not a big deal. I don't do that anymore. And, of course, the needle's going like this, but the guy interprets it as, okay, he's okay now because I can see it in his eyes.
Okay.
Well, this
They're
manager
not
told
bloodshot.
me, well, the reality is, yeah, I wasn't doing a little bit of dealing in drugs. I was doing a lot. And the only reason why I quit is that I didn't want to find my body dead in the gutter. I wouldn't find myself dead in the gutter. Somebody would find my dead body in the gutter.
That's
So
a good
he
reason.
quit dealing in drugs. But apparently the lure of the money of dealing drugs, he didn't quite get over because he got later caught dealing drugs at the Radio Shack store. So he was then fired over it.
Well, yeah, that
So
would be bad. But a lot of things in the polygraph is psychological, like getting you to admit to things. Not necessarily detecting lies, but through asking questions. Because, like, I remember they did a bullshit episode about the polygraph. Like, first they
sure,
explained,
yeah.
There's ways that you can get past it. Because first of all, is if you don't believe, if you know that it's bullshit, you're more likely to pass it. Whereas if you're convinced that this is a super duper polygraph, that they can really detect things, that'll make you more nervous, and you'll respond as such that they, can get a reading.
Well, even when they set you up, they set you up to believe it.
Right.
They tell you the story.
It's psychological.
There's no way you can trick this thing. You could take any kind of drug. It doesn't matter. We're going to catch you on this.
Yeah.
And so that you gets all hyped up, and you're not going to.
Yeah, they totally
You're not going to pass the polygraph. If you said, "Hey, did you ever steal a pencil from an employer?" Oh my God, I did.
Yeah, it's a lot of mind games, a lot of psychology. And then the other thing is, apparently a trick is that if you clench your buttocks and then you release as you answer, that relaxes you in a way that your response will come off relaxed by their reading. So that's a tip to keep in mind. But then the other thing is a lot of times the person giving you the polygraph can act like, okay, that's done now, and now you can totally talk off the record. You're never off the record.
Right, that's right. Until they unhook you, you're still on the record. Yes.
Right. Because there was this. They showed this one polygraph. Yeah. This guy was a total douchebag. That was given the polygraph because it was on the episode of Penn and Teller's Bullshit, where this guy went to a bachelor party, and his hypothetically to be bride wanted to be sure that there was no inappropriate activity at this bachelor party, otherwise she was not going to marry him. Nothing at all inappropriate. No strippers, no touching, no any type of contact with women. You are just to go out and hang out with the guys and have some good, clean fun. That's it.
Like that's going to happen.
And I'm not going to trust you, so you have to take this polygraph. So he goes in, he takes the polygraph, he gives all the correct answers to the polygraph. After he's done, the guy, kind of does this whole act like, okay, and we're done here. All right, you did very good. Hey, what really happened on that weekend, though? He was, and I'm sounding obvious about it, but this guy was real smooth about, like, hey, between you and me, though. And, he's like, well, yeah, there were some girls there, and there was some, maybe a little bit of touching, but it didn't mean anything. And so, he thinks he's good because he answered all the questions right, and the guy acted like, yeah, you totally answered the questions right, you nailed this. And so he goes in with his hypothetically to-be wife, thinking like, hey, I did this and we're all good. He's going to come in and tell you all the things I said on the record, and we're going to go out of here happy. And he comes in and goes, well, we did the polygraph and he admitted to some inappropriate activity. There was apparently some, and it's just basically telling her all the things he admitted to after the test that he was led to believe was off the record. And she breaks out in tears. Right. And their marriage is not happening, and that relationship is over. And
yeah. Actually, a friend of mine was getting married, and this was in Connecticut, and at the time I was living in Colorado.
Never tell
So I flew out to, to go to the wedding. And, the guys went out like guys do. And we went to different bars, and one of the bars was a stripper bar.
Of course.
And let me just put it this way. Out in the sticks of Connecticut, if you see a stripper bar, don't bother stopping because the women that they hire aren't worth looking at. Okay? But that's when we stopped at. Anyway, so we go on, and the next day we find out this guy told her about it.
Ooh.
And she was about ready to not go around with the wedding until we stepped up and said, look, he had nothing to do with it. We basically dragged him in.
And there was nothing good to look at there
And he
anyways.
objected to it. We just did it anyway. If you want to blame somebody, blame us. Because he had nothing to do. He was just dragged along. And there was no touching or anything like that. This woman actually never got off of stage. I don't think we even shelled out any dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was a stupid thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this was, totally.
We were there I think we had one drink and we left.
This was a learning experience. Don't go to
like,
a strip
okay.
bar in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut.
Yeah.
There's
That's
nothing
right.
worth seeing here.
That's right. Yes. Look. In
No
fact,
one
look
wants
the
to
other
see
way.
Bodine Brown stripping.
Right.
Why would you even tell the girl?
Well, you don't want to start a
yeah,
marriage
well,
with
he's a
dishonesty.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, he did the right thing. He did the right thing.
He did and he didn't. He should have neglected it. That's my opinion. But
anyways,
Now we need Dune's dumbass song.
well, I gotta tell you, my most awkward strip club story. There was this what was the name of that place? I forget the name of this place. It was in Boundbrook. It was not Torpedoes. It was the other place that was down the street from Torpedoes. And
is Torpedoes a stripper bar?
yeah, Torpedoes is another stripper bar in Boundbrook.
I'm not sure that's a very good name.
Oh, it's quite a good name.
Unless that's what it does to relationships.
Wow.
No, I think it's referring to the Torpedoes.
I think I've been to that one.
You've probably been to Torpedoes. Well, there's another place down the street from Torpedoes. And it wasn't Ooh La La, because that's down the street in the other direction. The opposite direction from Ooh La La, down the street from Torpedoes. I forget the name of that club. But we went there quite a bit. That was the place they took me for my 21st birthday. But anyways, this was another time that was not my 21st birthday. We go there. And
yeah, went to a bachelor party there.
so we're there, and there's some nice girls dancing, and they look good. And there's one girl that, she looks all right. She's got a nice rack, but it's obvious that she's old enough to be my mother, just about. And I'm not really into strippers that make me think any sentence with the word
when you
mother
think of
in
your
it.
mother, that's not a good deal. Yes.
Right.
Right.
And she did not help things any by coming up, introducing herself. Hi, my name's so and so. And shaking my hand, and then going, "Hey, you want to put $1 down my top?" And it's like, and she was so polite. I don't want to say to her, "No, I don't want to put $1 down your top, but I'll gladly hand one over to you." That would be insulting. So I had to touch this woman who's old enough to be my mom's boobs. It was the most awkward boob touch of my life.
My God.
But she was very friendly, introduced herself, shook my hand, which is not what you want from your strippers.
And so the urge to say thanks, Mom, never came up.
No. Damn it, Brian, you're not helping.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I think that's why I stopped going to that place.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, never mind about the stripper who had sherry in my mouth and was rubbing it in my...
What?
What?
What the hell is a bachelor party?
A little pocket pool?
Not quite pocket. She came over.
Well,
And I took and just rubbed her around, rubbed her clit a bit. She hovered there for a minute and then moved on and came back a few minutes later.
You got the turkey?
Fun times. Fun times.
fun times. There you go. I had some fun times at the strip clubs, but they were usually not as fun. Well, I mean, the one time I went to
Yeah, you get
Torpedoes.
your face wet?
No. Well, I did not have a fun time, apparently. I almost sprung for the lap dance at Torpedoes, but I was down to my last $20, and the lap dance was $20, and I didn't want to. It's generally polite to tip your dancer after a lap dance beyond the $20 you pay for the lap dance. And I didn't want to be rude, so I kept my
$20 was the tips, right?
That's what you'd think. But no, you pay $20 for a lap dance, and then you're supposed to tip the dancer afterwards. And since I did not have money for a tip, if you don't have money for a tip, you can't afford it. So I did not get the lap dance.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And there were some girls I would have really liked to get that lap dance from. I was having a tough time deciding, and then I was out of tip money, and was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not doing this. And that was okay, because I spent way too much money at that place anyway. That was a place that they really moved fast, because you're drinking beer, which beers are way more expensive than if you drink at home. And every girl comes over, leans over, $1. Next girl comes over, leans over, $1. Next girl comes over, leans over, $1. Next girl comes over, leans over, $1. Hey, it's the first girl again, $1. And then when you ran out of dollars, hey, can you break a 20? Surprise, surprise, that's not a problem. Let me... Here's 19. Or, well, here's 20. Put one down my top. There you go. Here's one back. It was the same singles all night long being stuffed down these girls' tops.
Phone like that.
Well, Venison's phone line is breaking up here, unfortunately.
What?
Yeah, it's breaking.
Yeah, we couldn't understand a word.
But getting back to last week, I did have a chance to here. You know what? I think it's time for a little custom music update. Is what it is. And I did have a chance to spool out the commercial tape, because there's different types of background music, and this tape was labeled commercial background music, and I had a chance to spool it out and record it. And the cartridge, each cartridge holds about 8 hours worth of music. The tape is 2 hours long with 4 tracks. 2 times 4 is 8. And you're holding up a phone.
Yeah, my iPhone decided to reboot.
Nice. That's a feature.
It's never done it after doing nothing.
Always something there to remind me. In
Weird.
Muzak
Damn,
form.
all these minutes on this damn thing is breaking up. It's fucked up.
Anyways, so yeah, I was quite thrilled at some of the background music selections on this tape that I recorded in. And I had a chance to, so you remember we left the voicemail last week for custom music. And I followed that up with an email the next day. And I forwarded a response to you, the person going, "You must be Johnny Gators." That was the highlight of my morning.
Yes, that was fantastic.
Yes, we now have a YouTube stalker. So
Wow.
That's great. She looked us up. She watched the show on YouTube, showed it to other people, and yeah, that's great. So I had a chance to get some more information about custom music, and I'm not sure, how much I'm supposed to say or not say, but I'm not going to name any names. But I, had a nice phone conversation that was very
hypothetically
informative.
Mary, right?
Hypothetically, I had a phone conversation, and I've got some hypothetical
with Mary.
With Mary, yeah, we'll say Mary.
Yes. Hypothetical Mary.
Hypothetical Mary.
Yes.
Or Bob. But anyways, so as I was mentioning last week, I wasn't sure how this technology worked, but I had an idea that there was something to it to allow an element of randomness. Because let me tell you, when I was growing up, I would take swimming lessons on Falcon Road in Hillsborough, and there was a Walmart not far from there in a Kmart not far from there in Hillsborough, and the Kmart had a single reel-to-reel tape that it played every day. And every day that we went to the Kmart after a swimming lesson, it was at the part of the tape where the Muzak version of "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" was queued up. So, every time we walked in that Kmart, da 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 ba ba da ba da ba. Doo, 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 doo. I think they were backup singers singing oohs and ahs, you know. But it was the same point every day at the tape because I started the tape in the morning. So, you know, and there are people that probably could tell you about working at a place that had a single tape that they would play and that, you know, by the end of the week, they had the whole track list memorized. That's not fun. That doesn't sound like fun, does it, Brian?
No. That drives me nuts.
So, as I mentioned, I noticed that these custom music tapes do not have sensing foil at the splice. So it does not use, it's not like an 8-track tape that it senses the beginning of the tape and that triggers it to go to the next program. So it's not endless loop. Now, the custom music tape decks hold 6 tapes in them. Each tape holds about 8 hours. So that means, for starters, you got about 2 days worth of material nonstop before you ever have to, you know, repeat a tape. But here's the ingenious thing. The tapes have 5 seconds of silence between songs and 15 seconds of silence where the splice is at the beginning of the tape. And so it can use that to detect where songs end and where tapes end. So you load up your 6 tapes that are queued up at the beginning, and it starts by playing the first song on track 1 of tape 1, and when it reaches the 5 seconds of silence, that triggers it to go to this tape 2, and it will play the first song on track 1 of tape 2, and then when it reaches a silence, it goes on to tape 3. So it plays one song on each tape, and then when it gets, you know, to tape 6, it goes back to tape 1, and it keeps going through. And then when it reaches 15 seconds of silence, it knows, oh, okay, I want to switch to track 2 on this tape. Now, keep in mind, these tapes have slightly different lengths. They have different numbers of songs on each tapes. So it's not going to be the same loop. Every 6th song is on a loop, but you got 6 different spaced loops going on. So you'll never be able to predict what song is coming on next. Because it's, you know, one tape's going to repeat before the next tape. Yeah,
so
that
semi-random, yeah.
So it gives you
that's cool.
Quite an element. Yeah, I thought that was quite slick. Right there. So that's, you know,
did you get Earl in on the loop?
You know what? The person I talked to, I asked about the Earl Nightingale tape, and his first thought was that they offered tapes that you could record your own announcements on. So that way, if you wanted to make one of your tapes little in-store announcements promoting something, you could record your announcement, put 5 seconds of silence in between that announcement, and the announcements would be single track. It would record across the entire tape. It was not 4-track, it was single track. And that way, you know, you could play 5 songs and then an announcement, and then 5 songs and an announcement, because it would go around the cycle before it got to that tape again. Right. Or you could have
So you could have 5 different or 6 different blue light specials queued up.
Right, or a fake security announcement, you know, security to aisle 3, you know, that way, you know, they think that they're actually paging security when, you know, most security pages are fake.
Pick up the dog poop on aisle 7.
Right. But, so he thought, like, well, maybe if it's Earl Nightingale's motivational stuff, someone may have recorded in Earl Nightingale's motivational stuff, and I pointed out, well, no, that's not what this tape is. This tape is specifically made for a Holiday Inn, and it is not single track. It is 4-track. There's 4 individual tracks of programming on here, definitely. And he was like, he found that quite interesting. He was not familiar with that at all. So this was some kind of a unique thing that was not typical of custom music, from what I gathered.
Yeah, so it was probably recorded either by them or by somebody that understood the equipment.
Right.
Well, maybe Holiday Inn did it.
I mean, they themselves didn't record the tapes. They had outfits that recorded the tapes, or, you know, I always struggle to follow how this industry interacts with that industry, with that, you know, this company, that company, that company.
Sure.
But there's different companies involved. I mean, the early days when they did the records, they were pressed by Seeburg, but it had their labels on it. You know, so it's all, you know, fascinating stuff. And so that's what his initial thought was, is that we did offer recorder units. They weren't that popular, but maybe it was someone just recording some Earl Nightingale stuff onto one of our tapes. And I was like, nope, this was made special for them. And he goes, wow, really? So I have something that they weren't familiar with. So it was probably a unique situation. It certainly seems like it was not the norm or the standard. But then the other interesting thing, so then I asked him, well, where might I pick up a machine to play back these tapes? And his next question was, well, how many would you want? I like this guy. Bob's good people.
Well, how much are they each?
Yeah, well, my response was, I only have room for one, but if I had more room, the next question would be, how many you got? He had a little laugh there. I was like, nah, I think I'm going to go with one, but how much will that cost? He's like, well, I need you to pay shipping. I'll have so-and-so's got your email. I'll have her get in touch with you, and we'll work something out here. So
are they going to send one to you for free?
They might charge me. Shipping is going to be expensive.
Shipping, but I mean, almost nothing then.
Almost nothing. He might throw in a few extra bucks or something.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Now, does the machine allow you to record?
That depends on the model they send me.
Yeah, because that would be cool to do our own with our own tape that has the specials that we offer.
Well, I'd have to get blank tape or a blank cartridge, which is probably going to be hard to come by, or I'd have to erase one of these tapes because I can't just spool. This is not. Keep in mind, 8-track tape like this that works on a single reel has to have a layer of lubricant on it in order for it to rub against itself without binding up. So you can't just shove any type of 1/4-inch tape in a cartridge and record on it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So,
sure.
And blank 8-track tapes, if you can find them, they're collectible, they're pricey, and they don't have nearly enough tape for one of these cartridges.
Well, ask these guys if they offer any blank tapes.
Well, I don't know if they're sending me a model that records or not. I'll have to work out I want to ask them for tape.
Well, I mean, that would be the two questions. One is, can you get one that records? And number two, do you even have just one blank tape hanging around? After all, the value is the ones that have recordings, right?
Right. Well, and I want ones with recordings.
Hope.
I want ones with recordings is what I want.
Yeah.
Because I don't even have that many, so I think at some point I want to throw in, hey, could you throw in a pile of more tapes? Like I've been looking for more of these tapes. Whatever you have, if you'll sell them to me or throw them in or whatever, I'd like more tapes. So anyways, we were getting into the music content that was on there, and I was talking about in the early days they had to record their own music. There was no using any licensed music at all, but at some point that changed. And I'm guessing they did it appropriately with royalties and all that, but they did at some point start adding, and I knew that because I pointed out, well, you say you recorded your own, but at some point that must have changed, right? He goes, well, yeah, that did change later on. And he told me some story about how that change came to be. And I knew that because one of my Christmas tapes has a lot of Percy Faith tracks in it, which is definitely licensed. But a funny story he had for me. Typically their customers were restaurants and stores. But there were some businesses that were office environments that would put in a system like this to have, motivating background music to put in the background in the day to kind of set the pace and whatever. And at some point, they started, adding different music selections to their lineup. And they decided to start adding a country western line of tapes that you could subscribe to if you wanted to.
Brother.
And I think the initial thought there was that a lot of their customers were you're calling us.
Who is?
Oh, I'm going to put Venison on hold to take this call from Venison.
Yes.
Oh, you got your computer working.
Well, yeah.
All right. So, the country western tapes. And I think the line of thinking was a lot of our customers are bars, and you got like a country type of bar, like you want to put some country western music on, we can provide them with that.
Because we offer both kinds of music, right?
Country and western. Yes, and this way we could offer that and get more customers, and so that was kind of the mindset that went into the music selection for the country western tapes. But this means that this is a service that they offered, and so some office environment decided, well, I think my workers will like a little bit of country western to add to their day, and so they signed up for the country western music.
No, they won't.
And well, no, they were fine with it. The boss, however, walks into the office one day, and what comes blaring out of the sound system?
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
Timing is everything.
Left, took all the reason.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well. They got an angry call that day. Had to call over to the place, like, what were you doing putting that song on that tape? Well, that's for the bars. Yeah, that's not the only place these tapes are going.
Yes.
Hypothetically. That's a hypothetical story.
But even still, that would be such motivation. If if you were at a place and that came on, you'd be pumped up, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure
this is kind of like sticking it to the man.
The workers loved it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hey.
If I had the guts to say, take this job and shove it.
Oh, jeez. I love it.
Yeah, but when
I'm sorry. What was that, Venison? You're breaking up again.
I said when they started singing it in unison. Oh, wow.
All the employees?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Hypothetically.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
There we
So
go.
I was filling it at a Radio Shack store, and nothing was going on. The store was empty. There was a cassette tape laying around, and this kid came in, and he put it in the machine, starting playing it. And it was. Do you remember the band The Knack? It came out in the 80s.
My Sharona.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Were there any others?
My Sharona.
Yeah, and there were others, right? Not just that, but not very many.
That's the only one I knew by them.
Yeah. Anyway, so they would put this CD on, and and I've got stuff to do. I'm doing inventory, whatever. And this old guy comes in, and he kind of grouses and goes, "Well, that's not the kind of music that people will buy with." So he popped the tape out, and he turned it to a easy listening radio station. Yeah, okay, whatever. And that's playing. I keep continuing with my business. I don't really give a shit, right? The old guy leaves. The kid comes back, and he puts the cassette back in. Yes.
It's
Not that
battle.
I'm a big fan of that band, but it's better than the easy listening stuff.
Yeah.
And then he leaves. Okay, and then the old man comes back in. And he pops the tape out, and he's like, what is this, a freaking nightmare?
All right, so we pop the tape out. We go back to the easy listening.
Right. Yeah.
There's some great selections on this tape, too. I'd like to share some of the highlights of this tape. Like I was just playing a moment ago. No, that's not it. Heart of Glass by Blondie.
That's not easy listening. Or is that? Wait, is this an easy listening version?
Kind of.
Oh, it is! I was thinking it was the real thing at first. That's hilarious.
That's great. Is that great or what? You know what else they have on here? Let's see. No, that's not it. Yeah, getting easy listening with Stevie Wonder.
Cheesy keyboard to do the vocal part.
I totally hang out in an elevator all day long to listen to this.
That's right. Yeah, you'd be the asshole that's pushing all the buttons so that It takes longer to go up, and you just go, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
I just want to hear the rest of this song before I get
That's
to my
right.
floor.
And this is the third trip up and down.
Got some sax going now. It's great stuff. Now, somewhere I lost my marking because I marked this file, and now I got to find it. Oh, here it is. Yes, easy listening maniac. We're going flash dance.
You know, no, it just isn't the same. I mean, you know, you can't even call it easy listening either, right? It's a little bit too intense, right?
Just a little bit, but it's kind of
Yeah,
got a mellow instrumentation going to it, and it's instrumental.
But I think the old guy would be having a heart attack right now.
Yeah,
if,
maybe.
You know, if he isn't already dead. I'm guessing he's dead.
Well, maybe they follow it up with something slower. Oh no, we still got kind of a disco beat going here.
Disco easy listening.
Easy listening disco Flight of the Bumblebee.
I was thinking, is that Flight of the Bumblebee mixed in there as well?
That was.
Holy shit! You get like 6 guys coming after him with a royalty claim, right?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Boom, boom, dum, dum, bum, bum. What type of dance is this? This is like a tango? I think this is a tango.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think so.
Dum, 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 dum.
Easy listening tango. There you
Why
go.
not? Why not? I love it. I love it. And I got 8 hours of this just from one tape. If I get another 5 tapes of this, I could have 48 hours of this on random. I can't wait.
And if they give you a machine that will accept 6 tapes,
Yes.
you would just, you know, put your feet up on the couch and just kind of zone.
Yeah.
It would go endlessly, right?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Now we're a little more easy listening. About to say I love you in a song.
And the bass is coming through pretty good on this one.
Yeah, I tweaked the bass a little on this tape.
Yeah.
It's you know, the tapes are a little on the mid-rangey side, so I did
Sure.
I did a little of my own touch up on the recording.
Sure. Well, in a retail environment, you kind of want to stick in that mid-range, right? People don't want to get...
Well, plus the speakers are probably pretty mid-rangey, so you may as well stick
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
range that comes through the speakers. And you know, the tape is running at a fairly slow speed, so high frequencies are going to get lost anyways.
And it's probably that ceiling-mounted speaker
Yeah.
that's just bouncing off the asbestos, right? So you're getting this shower of asbestos while you're listening to it?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? We probably would have to, if we want to get like the real authentic sound of this, we probably have to, you know, really EQ it to sound very mid-rangey and add some reverb to it. So, like, if we, if I did this and I did that, and we'll take that down there.
I have to say, so this is your conversion you're playing, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, because you don't have a machine.
Well, now I'm mid-ranging it up to make it sound more like a cheap speaker.
But this is a FLAC file that you're playing. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, it's a 64 a W64 wave file because it's 8 hours, so a standard wave file won't hold 8 hours. All right,
I see.
this sounds like a cheap store speaker.
Oh yeah. Ah, make me wretch. I can feel
You
the asbestos coming down on my face.
This is the
that store manager that got fired for selling drugs at the store.
Yeah.
That store was in this shopping center that was closed for about a month because they were sick and tired of it raining asbestos on them. So they closed the whole mall to do asbestos remediation.
Oh, it's probably a good thing they did that.
Yeah. I think I substituted at that store a couple of times, not very often.
And you didn't die.
Well, I mean, asbestos, effects of asbestos take a long time.
So they're still working.
So, if I come up with lung cancer, I can join that class action suit to get some money. Or my next of kin can.
Radio Shack will have been long out of business by then.
No. Well, and that mall is permanently closed now. There's a dead mall list, and that's on the list.
Oh, you gotta love dead malls.
Yeah. In fact, I was surprised how many malls in the Denver area that I knew are on the dead mall list.
Malls are just dying. They really are.
Yeah, it's a...
That's because we're not promoting enough stuff for people to go buy at malls. So, I mean, now, are you still taking the Flonase this week?
Oh, absolutely. I took a hit before the show.
So once again, this show's been brought to you by Flonase. To keep Brian's coughing in check. Flonase.
That's right. And the Halls. Don't forget Tough Love.
And the Halls with the Tough Love.
That's right.
And we'd like to thank Jay Booger, who approved of the Flonase and the Halls. And he also made a point to count every annoying thing in a list of counts at the end of his review. You were reading it on the phone earlier. Did you get through that whole review?
No, I just got the first part, and the first part I kind of go, he likes me!
Yeah. There's a little asterisk after that, though.
Oh, okay. I better read it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just going with, because he likes me, because that's funny.
He likes you. Yeah, he does. He had some good things to say about you. So, you know what? I actually did want to touch on that. So, because he wrote a very good review, and I felt that the review should be shared. So, we're going to bring it up here. First off, much better episode. Brian did much, much better on this show by implementing some simple corrective actions. Mixing in a little self-depreciation is a good thing. Kudos to explaining his nasal challenges and being real about it, as well as going with Halls and Flonase to conquer his phlegm issue. Also, Brian gets a gold star for not interrupting others on this episode and pointing out his impatience. At times, I begin to wonder if he'd even interrupt himself because he so frequently interrupted others. I think you did interrupt yourself.
I like that idea, that concept. No, I was trying hard. I really was. Yeah.
Well, you did get sidetracked on one of the stories earlier, so that might be like interrupting yourself.
This is true. Yeah, no, I think that there's a lot to that. No doubt about it.
So that was as far as you got.
The trick is don't get it to the point where you're arguing with yourself, okay?
That is...
And if you find yourself losing that argument against yourself, then you're a loser.
If you're arguing with yourself one way or another, you're going to be a loser. So anyways, that was as far as you read.
Yes. Yeah, that's about as far as I read.
Okay.
Again, I had a glance. I don't want him to say, hey, he's on his iPhone again.
Okay, now on to some ball busting, because only handing out cookies for a job well done would be boring. Brian declares Jay Booger is trying to improve my show. A little possessive for Brian to declare the show his. Well, hey, to be fair, when I contacted Brian about doing the show, I said I want this show to be a 50-50 partnership here. I want Brian to feel like he owns this show too. So I'm cool with that.
But did I say my show? I don't recall saying it that way.
Joe...
because I do feel, quite frankly, that it's your show.
Well, that's probably the seniority. But I do want this to be our show.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. And I appreciate that. So I mean,
but
to be honest, the reason why I even do the show is to help you out.
I appreciate
That's
that. Well, you also like doing it, though.
Sometimes I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you keep coming back to the show. I thought you really enjoy it.
And sometimes I do enjoy it. See, so
That's okay. Sometimes I hate the show.
I was
too.
listening to this program, and they were talking about. Well, he started off with gays, and well, now we're a little bit more informed, and it's not a disease, right?
Right.
It's not, a mental health issue. You can't help it if you're gay, right?
Right.
Then this comedian went on to schizophrenia. Eventually we'll understand that schizophrenia won't be a health issue. It's just what that person is. And then, we'll have a schizophrenia pride parade. And there'll be Jack and Jim and Bob and Betty and Sam and Tom and whatever. And, well, that'll be the first guy.
Oh, wait a minute. I need to. The music was. There you go. There's your drum fill.
There you go. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were getting the joke or whatever.
No,
but
no. I totally
obviously,
got it.
he did it much better than me because he started off with two people in the parade.
No, I think.
List all these names, and that's really just one person.
And that's not that far off because I think autism is starting to, people who are autistic sometimes take offense to the way that autism is treated. Like, the money to research this is to find a cure for this, whereas people who have autism that function in society, it's part of who they are. It's part of their personality. And for people to suggest that this is bad or wrong and something that we need to cure people of, there are some people with autism that find that offensive. And on
That's
the one
interesting.
hand, yeah, it is interesting because, on the one hand, you don't want to be dismissive of someone who's proud of who they are. And on the other hand, though, if you can make it easier for someone to function, is that a bad thing? I mean, it's like, wow, I never thought of it that way before. That's interesting. So it wasn't that far off from what you were suggesting.
Yeah.
With the Pride Parade for schizophrenia.
Obviously, I was listening to this in terms of a comedian speaking. But
right.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's cool.
Yeah. It's actually touching on a serious issue, actually.
Now, I think if you kind of dial that back a second, is there a way to prevent autism from forming? It's apparently a single act that triggers it, from what I gather. But I don't know a lot about it.
And that might be, but what I'm getting at is it's almost like the attitude that one would have towards the question of, is it possible to prevent homosexuality from happening?
Right.
I mean, do you even want to ask that question?
Well, I think we're past that question now, although some people still aren't with the program.
Right. We don't ask that question. We don't try to prevent homosexuality, and we certainly don't try to cure it. But autistics almost have that feeling towards autism, that this is a part of their identity, and to suggest that you want to cure them of that. And I'm not saying it's the same as homosexuality, but there is a bit of that mentality in that community. I was reading something about it, and I don't think I'm putting it into words quite right, but the point is it's something that I never really considered or thought about until I started reading about that like, you just kind of take it for granted that autism is something that we could research and cure. And then, people start saying, hey, wait a minute, why should I be cured? I am who I am.
Well,
and it's like,
I think
wow.
the difference, okay, let's talk about autism a second. My understanding is that there is some kind of a trigger event when a child is growing up, maybe 3 years old, 4 or 5 or something like this. And a lot of people are pointing at the shots, right? Take a bunch of shots.
Which is not it. No,
Well, I
let's
know,
not start.
and I know, but some people are blaming it on that, as if there's a trigger event. That's all I'm getting at. Okay, a trigger event, and then boom, he has autism. Autism. Can't even talk anymore. So, is that a real experience, or is it really something else?
I don't know enough.
I have a cousin that's in his, he's probably in his 60s. That the family story goes, of course, this happened when nobody talked about this kind of things, is when he was a youngster, he fell out of his high chair and he ended up with this condition. Now, I've never heard that he's been diagnosed with autism. It's more like, is it a brain injury, or is it some type of mental retardation? I don't know.
Well, that
no one
word's
has
not
told me about an
PC
official.
anymore, but,
Well, of course it's not. But they would just explain it away that, oh yeah, when he was a baby, he fell out of his high chair, hit his head, and now he's like this. Now, is it actually that he was born with the potential of the condition?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about it, but we can get back to Jay Booger's comments.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We were totally distracted.
Yeah. Brian gets all my other friends. Brian greets all my other friends. Has Brian marketed the show to his other friends, and are they listening? I know you have, tried to get your brother to listen.
All my other friends.
At some point,
Okay.
he's quoting this. You said,
Okay.
you did greet all your other friends during last week's show.
Oh, okay.
If Johnny suggests I'm Brian's wife again, I'll report him to the USPS for shipping lithium-ion batteries. And no, I'm not Johnny's wife either. Show had a high point about 7 minutes in. Brian's Internet Explorer shit the bed, and I thought we'd be Brian free, but sadly no. But then again, about 23 minutes in, another chance for Brian free, but nope. I think he just crashed Internet Explorer so he can go off for a coughing fit. Brian in the Traveling Wilburys discussion speaks for itself. While Brian has solved his coughing, throat-clearing issue, and perhaps his interruption knack, we now have the right issue. Brian brings us another head-scratcher with terms and phrases such as medification, they're horning it in instead of they're honing it in, and I'm watching too much fucking commercials. Maybe he shouldn't be mixing Halls and Flonase before showtime.
Okay.
No need to
Wait a
move the
minute,
camera.
but they both work.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I had no problem with that myself. No need to moon the camera while trying to emphasize pulling numbers out of my ass, Brian. Your wife wouldn't approve. Moreover, Gators now has revenge porn material. I didn't think of that. I don't think I even noticed that. I'm not going back to check the replay for that either.
Well, we didn't get the full moon in there, did we?
I don't think we got a full moon. Maybe we got a cloth moon. I don't know. I don't remember that. Over to Johnny.
Got to the butt crack.
I don't know. There might have been some crack. I'm not going back to check if there was crack or not. So we'll just take Jay Booger's word for it that he didn't enjoy what he saw. So so we know Jay's checking out your ass and he doesn't like what he sees. I think that's what we've established here.
Okay.
And you're okay with that?
Perfectly okay.
All right.
Each to their own.
Okay.
I'm open-minded.
All right, over to Johnny. Enjoyed seeing and hearing about the reel-to-reel 8-track player, loudest play and stop levers. Your mic cable is loose or becoming damaged. There, I yelled at you as you requested. I understand that you want the show to have a comedic theme versus all techie, but as you said, the Quadcast hasn't fully lifted off yet. I don't think there's anything wrong with a Professor Gators segment to try and educate your audience a bit, if not just audio things, and mix it up with a Professor Gators and Dunce Brian. Okay, Professor Brian at times. Segment each week with random items. Well, this week it was about how the custom music tapes worked. So yeah, we're still working some of that in. The real blowout was great. I had a feeling that would be inevitable. Sponsor ideas. Caps or
Wait,
binder clips.
the real blowout? What did he mean?
Well, when I was missing the rubber thingamajig, and I was rewinding, and the reel kind of fell off, and the tape went spooling a little bit.
Yeah.
That happened. He enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was actually funny.
And it was good.
You couldn't plan it,
Yeah.
right?
And the tape wasn't damaged, really. I was able to easily spool it back on, so it was all right. So sponsor ideas: caps or binder clips for take-up reels to prevent tape blowouts. Ointment to prevent Brian from going, yeah, right. I think that's called duct tape. Firefox ESR for all of your crash-free Google Hangout needs. Tired of Internet Explorer shitting the bed during a Hangout? So, Brian, did you rejoin using your Firefox ESR?
I tried. I couldn't get it to work. So this has been Internet Explorer, and it hasn't crashed. So,
All right. Well,
who the hell knows?
I don't know why your Firefox ESR isn't working. That sucks. Why not try Video Driver updates, Adobe Flash updates, or perhaps a browser change to Firefox ESR or Google Chrome? Also, how about a Webster's Dictionary for Brian's word and sentence challenges, metification, horning in, on, etc. Another bit suggestion might be for Gators to play some randomly odd audio, music or otherwise, and have Brian try to guess what it is or what its origin is. Could call the segment Name That Dumbass or something equivalent. I like that idea. I'll have to see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
Lastly,
that
this
could
week,
work.
below is a summary of a few things from this episode as far as I can count. Brian's coughing, too fake, too subtle and partial, but real, which were towards the end since the flow names might have been wearing off. Johnny's one sneeze, which at least he made the effort to go off mic. Brianisms, okay 15 times, right 62 times, right 2 times, sure 12 times, sure 3 times, true 1 time, true 1 time, yeah 55 times, yeah 6 times. In all, great show this week. Much easier to listen to, and thanks to Brian for taking the steps to improve his show. Keep up the good work.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Let's say you're talking about something, and I want to act like I'm interested. How should I respond?
Well, I've never had a problem with the yeah. I mean, I think it's just part of who you are, and you know what?
Well, I can understand yeah in that way could sound like I'm dismissing you.
But it's also a Brianism at this point. I say,
What the heck?
You know what? We're not going to appease every one of Jay Booger's nitpicks. Some things
Sure.
we should just
and
embrace.
if he wants to do a count on the time I say, okay, yeah, right, yeah, whatever, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, that's kind of cool.
You can try to
Did
throw.
you
Did
hear the Jack Black?
Jack Black?
Lewis Black was
Lewis
talking
Black.
about how he went to the Lincoln Center to do his act, and he never got invited back because he did the F-bomb too many times.
Right, yeah.
And they told him that he did an F-bomb, I think it was 45 times.
Right.
It's like, and he goes, who the hell is counting?
Yeah, that is the question.
To me, it's sort of the same.
We
but
now know who's counting.
I don't have a problem with it.
Jay Booger's counting.
Yeah,
and I will try to improve on the ones that he really doesn't like. I think the dismissive, yeah, I get it. That's obnoxious.
But it's a Brianism. I mean,
and I'm from Connecticut, so I can't help it being somewhat obnoxious. Right?
Yeah, and I'm from Jersey. I can't help but be more obnoxious. And speaking of Jersey guys, we got Venison
Hey,
back on the line.
Venison!
Yeah, you just missed a whole bunch of F-bombs here. That's the Skype problem. I took a USB extension, put the adapter near a window, 100% signal, bandwidth like hell. It reconnected, blue screen. Blue screen computer out. Oh, God. Yeah, F-bomb number 1. The second computer had product problems. F-bomb number 2. got back on the phone. It's like, oh, the phone's battery is almost gone. I got to plug it into the charger. That's why I got back now. And now comes the other problem. Are we still breaking up?
No, you're loud and clear now, but you're on the phone.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the phone now. Before I was breaking up, I was on the phone, but now I had to stand outside. Make sure.
Oh, well, that's okay because we're reaching that time of the show again, and it's that time
Yeah,
where.
I kind of figured it was.
Hey, Venison, is it nice outside? Is it nice outside, Venison?
Actually, yes. It hasn't rained yet. It was supposed to about 3 hours ago, but it hadn't started yet. And I even see a star.
Well,
Is it
go.
cold?
I don't know what's happening with that.
Is
So
it cold?
anyways-
No, it's actually, it's in the upper 50s.
That's not bad.
Okay.
But anyways,
Not
we've
bad
reached
at
our
all.
time of the show again where it's time to, figure out what it is we've learned because we do try to be educational.
It'll be summer Wednesday.
We try to be educational here. And so thank you for listening into...
Insert title here.
I hit the button too soon. We'll fix that in post. Thank you for listening again to...
Insert title here.
And, but let's, talk a little bit about what we learned this week because I think we all learned so much. And so, Brian, what have you learned this week?
That we will never actually fix things in post. Oh, no, we said that before. So I didn't learn that.
We never fix them. What?
We never fix things in post.
Oh, no, we don't.
Yeah. But we learned that before.
We
So
learned
there
that
must
before.
be something else that I learned.
No.
Well, we actually talked some very interesting things about autism and
Yeah.
whatever. It's kind of cool.
And
Did?
You know.
Venison, what did you learn this week?
Well, I've learned a couple things, actually. One, I found out that Gabe is afraid of getting laid with women. Too many complicated issues. Two,
That was
I found out there really was racism in the workplace. Holy shit. And three, I've decided I will never, if they were still around, I will never work at Radio Shack because I refuse to go on the polygraph. There's just too much stuff. Too much stuff. I gotta try
Good.
and hide.
You're not going to work at Radio Shack?
No, he doesn't want to get stuck in the polygraph.
Hell no.
Well, of course, you won't be working for Radio Shack because are there any open left? Or did I say
I
that?
am nearby.
Yeah,
him.
very rarely. Although we did get the announcement that they're closing another 500 stores, and they're having a big ass component sale.
Well, all of the
80%
stores
off.
in my area have closed, and two of them, rather than becoming Sprint stores, have become T-Mobile stores. So even Sprint doesn't want those locations.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think it's smart
one
of
up here
T-Mobile
by
to
me.
say, yeah,
Hey,
man,
we'll
we're
take
going to
that.
get on this.
Well,
We'll take the Sprint
there's a
rejects.
Radio Shack by me up there in Cranford, but don't know there's on their survivability. So there'll be no more Radio Shacks. I can't get another soldering iron.
So, I learned this week.
We'll have to get it online.
So, anyways, I learned this
Actually,
week.
there's no more electronic stores in the state anywhere.
Yeah, that's nice. Green Book Electronics, they still around?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I don't know. I haven't been down into town in the past few years.
Well, anyways, you
They
can check that out. Meanwhile, I learned this week that Nintendo of America uses the Cisco default hold music on their hold system. And because if you listened to the Dune and Bob show yesterday, you heard me make a call to Nintendo and bitch at them for discontinuing the Nintendo Classic, even though there's still high demand for it and people can't get them, and people are scalping them for over $300 on eBay. And this is absolutely asinine and shows that Nintendo is completely out of touch with their customers and doesn't give a shit about their customers. So I called them up and
But wait a second, maybe that'll come back.
they said they're discontinuing it.
Well, that's probably because they're focusing on that new Nintendo Switch.
But everyone's still trying to buy this thing and they never met the demand for it. They have basically pissed off their whole customer base. and have rewarded
This
the
is
scalpers.
another thing that I learned today.
This is a thing that people are lining up for to buy for $60 to go and sell it for over $300 on eBay. Fucking scalpers. Fuck you, scalpers. Anyways.
On a related note, did you realize that Bacardi stopped selling? They discontinued the 151 line?
What the fuck? That was great. It's a 6-pack in a
No
shot
shit.
glass.
There's so many fantastic memories of that stuff. I went there looking for it. It's not there. And I'm like, where's the 151? Oh, they stopped making it. What?
Oh my god.
That's amazing. That's one of the main ingredients of Spolioli.
So anyways, after I called him up on the Dune and Bob show, and he got to hear me kind of near the mic yelling at this guy, asking him questions about this, and Dune was enjoying this conversation. And at some point when I realized I was defeated, this guy was not going to help me find a Nintendo Switch, I asked him, hey, before I hang up, do you have hold music? And he goes, yeah, we do. I said, well, hey, could you maybe put me on hold for a few minutes, or for a few seconds?
You said you were looking for a Nintendo Switch. I take it you meant the Classic.
The Nintendo Classic.
Okay, all right. Just clear that up. Yes.
Yeah. So I said, I realized I was defeated here. This guy wasn't going to help me. So I'm like, hey, do you have hold music? Yeah, we have hold music. Can you put me on hold for a few seconds so I can hear your hold music? I really enjoy hold music. And the guy would not do it. He said, okay, at this point, I'm treating this as a prank call, so I'm going to hang up on you now. I was trying to say, no, I'm absolutely serious. I even told him, look so far my favorite is UPS. I like UPS's hold music better than FedEx's, but I'd like to see what you have. Could you put me on hold for a bit? And he's like, no, man, this is a prank call. I'm going to hang up on you. After we had a lengthy conversation about the Nintendo Classic. So I called back.
I take it you didn't explain how the guy at FedEx reacted, and he loved it.
I didn't have a chance to. He hung up on me. He was not loving it.
Oh, he just, I'm going to hang up on you and click.
Now, mind you, I'd already been kind of bitchy and pissy towards this guy for about 15 minutes. So I called back after the show because I was determined at this point to find out what Nintendo has on their hold music. And this guy picked up, and I gave a different email address, and the one that's actually associated with my Nintendo account, so they can see I really am a paying customer and have bought a lot of stuff over the years. And I once again asked very politely about the Nintendo Classic. He did a spiel about how, we can't sell them, we're not selling them, they're discontinued, you can still try to find them in stores, but, no, we don't, sorry, it's been discontinued. It was never meant to be an item, we didn't expect it to take off. I'm like, yeah, but that's why you meet demand. Anyways, at some point I said, hey, look, before I hang up, though, I got an unusual request. I collect background music. I like hold music. I'd like to hear what you have for hold music. Could you put me on hold for a few seconds? And he didn't want to do it. And he goes, well, I could only do that if it was in relation to our call, if I had a reason to do so. I said, okay, what's a good question I could ask you that would require you to look something up for me? And that's when he realized, oh shit, this guy's not going to let me go. And he said, okay, kind of curtly, I'll put you on a 30-second hold, but that's it. And I was like, dude, I'll be fine with 15. Awesome. And he's got the boom, 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 Cisco default hold music. And he took me off hold. I said, oh, that's a classic. That's really great if you ever hear it in stereo. Thank you so much. And I got the request in my email to rate the call, and I rated him very highly. I even put a note saying, thank you for letting me listen to the hold music. Please credit this guy 30 seconds of hold time because I insisted he put me on hold. Because I'm thinking that they track that, and that's why he was reluctant. So that's what I learned this week.
Okay.
Anyways, we've
run
out of the music. Well, all right, you got a question.
Yeah, last week, there
2
were
minutes.
issues. I forgot. But when I went into Skype, I saw a message that you had left from last week's show. What was that all about?
I forget.
What were you inferring?
Well, I forgot what the message was. Will you remind me?
I think it was, when you first came up with that voice. And we're talking about some kind of land thing or whatever.
Some kind of what?
Land's a real estate thing.
Real estate.
And then for the second part of it, it's talking about kids and parents and how they expect everything to happen to them, whatever.
I don't remember this message, but if it was with the voice, it was probably Dune, because Dune does the Reggie
No,
voice.
it wasn't Dune. It was it was that same voice that you used, earlier.
What voice did I use earlier?
God, man, I thought I had short-term memory. The one that you use for, the customer, lost thing, lost equipment, lost services.
That was Dune calling in as Reggie.
Ah, okay. So it was on.
Okay, so that was probably
Dune
during the Dune and Bob show. I don't remember. I'd have to. Anyways,
it said Monday.
Oh well, maybe
you and Brian.
Maybe Dune called in at some point with I don't know. I'd have to review. You have to. I don't remember, Venison. I'm sorry. That was so last week.
Well, last week,
Yeah.
Dune did call in for a while.
He did, but I don't remember him doing the Reggie voice.
No, I don't remember either.
Well, he did, and it ended up on my voice message.
Anyways, sorry I don't remember, but thank you everyone for listening, and good night, everyone. And be sure to check out NHBRadio.com. ADHD Radio tomorrow. Damon's doing a show on NHB Show on Wednesday with the music, and Outlaw Radio on Friday, and Dune and Bob Show Sunday, 6, 8 Eastern.
And now I'm beginning to wonder what Dune was about.
Okay. This is Dune's good friend, Reggie. He's harmless. He's just counting the clips.
Okay.
Counting the clips.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Yep, good night.
Good night. Hey, the battery lasted.
Yay.